I have been every voice.
You are the chosen one! Anakin! Anakin!
This is where the fun begins.
Inside your head.
Hello my dear friends and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. In today's video we're going to be talking about a big tease for the final episode of The Bad Batch. We're also going to be talking about the upcoming Lucasfilm projects and more. As always my dear Mandalorians, before we dive into the news, please may I ask you to hit that big red subscribe button if you've not done so, and also be sure to give that bell a good old tickle to be alerted each and every time that I post new videos. So as we say here on my channel, without any more jibber jabber, let's dive straight into it. So we begin with some big news for The Bad Batch. On Twitter, the Kinner brothers, who are composing The Bad Batch, have stated what it was like to work on the final episode of the series. And this is the tweet. Been working on the finale of The Bad Batch. Quick question, is it normal to be working on a queue so hard you start crying? So as many of us predicted, The Bad Batch finale is going to be an emotional one, and this honestly makes me fear what we've all got in the back of our minds, that most of, if not all of Clone Force 99 might just die at the end. Ever since the show first came out on May the 4th, Star Wars fans have been wondering why the Bad Batch do not appear later on in the Star Wars timeline, and it's because we must suspect that none of them made it. But I have a prediction. While I believe it's possible all of the Bad Batch are gonna die, I think that Omega is going to be around for a long time after the Bad Batch finishes. I stated the other day that I believe she might even appear in The Mandalorian as an ally or even the big bad behind the Imperial Remnant. This is true if her fate turns out to be a dark one, but we just have to wait and see. Reading this tweet gets me both excited for the direction of the show, but also fearful as to where it might lead. Musical composition, especially in Star Wars, is of course inevitably emotional. Hopefully the Kinner brothers in this tweet are just talking about the emotive nature of scoring the finale itself and not the tragedy we might witness in the show. I've always been moved by the music of Star Wars, and outside of the Skywalker saga, the soundtrack for the Clone Wars Season 7 gets me every time, especially on the episode Shattered, so it could just be musically. Now, The Bad Batch so far has been far more emotional than your typical first few episodes of a Clone Wars season, and episode 3 in particular, Replacements, was really dark, and I feel like it's so easy to be emotionally invested in the members of the group, especially in terms of Hunter's relationship to Omega, and also characters like Wrecker. So I can definitely imagine that if anything bad or sacrificial happens to them in the show, we'll all be reaching for the tissues. But what do you guys think of this tweet? Are you looking forward to the direction the Bad Batch might take, and what kind of emotional ending are we in for? So before we talk about upcoming Lucasfilm projects, we're going to stay on the subject of the Bad Batch, what the Bad Batch's creators want you to know about Omega and the Mandalorian's Grogu. The Star Wars franchise has introduced countless characters over the decades, but it's arguable that few have made a greater impact than Grogu, more colloquially known as Baby Yoda. That considered, one could be forgiven for finding some striking similarities between the tale of Grogu and Mando and what's been unfolding on the screen in The Bad Batch between Hunter and Omega. According to the people behind the show, however, there are some striking differences between the two. Looper found out as much when they sat down with The Bad Batch's producers, Jennifer Corbett and Brad Rau, who want you to know what makes the relationship between Omega and the Bad Batch so unique. Corbett and Brad Rau assert that what distinguishes Omega and the Bad Batch relationship from that of Mando and Grogu is that in the former case, both parties are in total unfamiliar territory. Jennifer Corbett stated the following: Mando, in those flashbacks in which we saw him, he had parents, and he had a childhood before the Purge. With the Bad Batch, they're clones who were created and then trained, and were never really children. Their only purpose in life was to be soldiers for the Republic. They have a very narrow view of the galaxy beyond being a soldier, and then Omega has a completely different perspective, because even though she was raised on Kamino, it's all she's known. So she knows science, she knows Kamino, but she has never set foot anywhere else. So both groups are just fish out of water, and I think they help each other grow in these adventures that they go on. Brad Rau agreed, noting how even though Clone Force 99 are hardened soldiers, they haven't seen much of life outside of the military setting. And that's what makes the Bad Batch so unique. You take this motley crew, this motley family, and you throw them into a situation where they're hungry, and now what do? That's the difference. It's not a mission objective. So that's where I think we get some interesting differences from things you've seen in other shows. I really couldn't have worded it better. I think they're absolutely right. Even though there are parallels with the father-child relationship between Mando and Baby Yoda, and also in this case, Hunter and Omega, it is a very different scenario. The theme of identity is going to be absolutely pivotal going forward in The Bad Batch, especially this idea of creating your own family based on what you've got. I said it in one of my full episode breakdowns, Omega is a gift to The Bad Batch and they're a gift to her in return. And so finally, my friends, we have a big update on upcoming Lucasfilm projects. This broke a few hours ago ago and I just have to talk about it. Lucasfilm have opened 3 limited companies for 3 projects that are coming up, and they're all in the UK. But we'll get to their relevance in a moment. Let's take a look at what the article says and how it leads into it. Back on Star Wars Day, aka May the 4th, we ran an extensive look at the upcoming live action Star Wars projects. There are a couple of tidbits that we learned since then and figured it's important to do a follow-up. So it's well known that active Lucasfilm projects include the Book of Boba Fett in California, the Andor series in the UK, and Obi-Wan Kenobi in California. There's an assumption that things like Rangers of the New Republic, Ahsoka, and the Mandalorian Season 3 will also shoot in LA, given the fact that the production hub there seems to be the home base for Disney Plus productions by Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. We've now learnt that it's almost official that the Andor series is going to get a Season 2. Even though we haven't got Season 1 of Andor yet, it has been renewed. A second season was teased in the past by K2SO actor Alan Tudyk. He told Collider that his smart mouth droid was removed from Season 1 after showrunner Tony Gilroy was brought on to help with writing, but he is going to be in Season 2. It remains to be seen if Lucasfilm will take the Mandalorian approach when it comes to Andor and do spin-offs. But a more significant piece of news is that 3 more Lucasfilm productions are headed to the UK, and they're being codenamed Ghost Truck, Blue Stockings, and Ace of Hearts. The fact that they were just created would mean this would rule out projects in pre-production or currently filming such as the Willow series, Indiana Jones 5, Andor, and so on. At least one of these upcoming projects is likely to be Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron, the next big Star Wars release in 2023. The listing of the project called Ghost Truck based on the name alone might be recognisable to Star Wars fans as potential nods to Star Wars Rebels, as the ship is called Ghost. However, this is all speculation based on just a name, and nothing official has been confirmed. The Ace of Hearts project might be referring to the Lando series, given the character's connection to gambling and seduction, but then again it could be meant for anything else. I thought this was very fascinating, but I want to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. Things are really finally picking up in terms of Lucasfilm projects. I can't wait to get the Book of Boba Fett this December, and then in 2022 we have so much to look forward to. We have the Andor series, the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, the Mandalorian Season 3 and Ahsoka, and then Rangers of the New Republic and Lando should be coming in 2023. So that brings us guys to the end of this news update. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I will see you all in the next one. Please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, do all of that good stuff, and also if you're feeling generous, please consider becoming a patron, where for just $2, $10, or even $50 a month, you get exclusive access to content that's not found here on YouTube, as well as many other perks. I'm Star Wars Meg, wishing you all a phenomenal rest of the day, no matter where you dwell in the galaxy. Have a good one.